What's fascinating about a good workshop is how it suits the needs of its creator. And today is one of those days where this shop is going to undergo a small transformation to make it a little bit better for the needs I have in the coming months. Today is part one of a basement workshop refresh. If you saw my video a few weeks ago about the fact that I work in a 72 square foot workshop, I'm very limited on space. But what I love about these pegboards is the versatility and the ability for me to adapt this space to exactly what I need. Today, we're going to be adding a little bit of technology to this pegboard to make it more of a computer station as well as a functional place, focus more on video editing and also the 3D modeling for my business. The first thing to do here is get everything cleaned off. Now, this is kind of a refreshing part of the project, being able to have a clean slate to work with and imagine how I want to set my space up. To make this possible, there's a couple things we need. So I raided my upstairs office, which is literally a closet, and took a docking station. This is my Thunderbolt docking station that will allow me to connect all my peripherals, monitor included, and make a simple one easy connection between this and my laptop, and will charge my laptop at the same time. The second thing is my 27-inch 1440p monitor. Now, I'm pretty limited on space, and you can see how much of the pegboard that this takes up. Pegboard is like prime real estate for me, so I want to minimize the amount of damage I create in this space. To make sure we reduce that, we're actually going to be mounting the monitor vertically like this, so it is almost like two laptop screens, and it will be put into this corner. The last piece is this bar. I need to 3D print a way to mount this onto a 2x4 and have it set off of the pegboard at the right distance. One of the things that drew me to 3D printing in the first place was the creativity and flexibility to make literally anything I want. I need to design a very specific solution here, and not having to go to the store or search online just makes 3D printing that much cooler. Last night I spent some time before I went to bed designing these. Now, I showed you guys the poll yesterday. This is the mounting solution I came up with. And we're gonna go get this mounted on the wall. This is the stuff that just wouldn't be possible without 3D printing, and I think it's pretty awesome. You can even see that this has clearance to move around behind the backside. Now, for getting the actual monitor mounted, this could be potentially a little tricky, but so after some fiddling around a bit, you can see that I actually got it up. It looks nice, and I am exploring where I want to put my docking station. And I'm thinking down here on the bottom is probably one of the better spots. But either way, I think that looks really nice and doesn't take up too much of the space. Everything's all connected. Now it's just a matter of reorganizing. Honestly, this is the worst part about the process, is getting everything back where it's supposed to go from this mess. Putting everything back on the shelf is something that takes a long time, and here I worked for maybe half hour to an hour, but in reality this is going to take many weeks and potentially over the next month to get this situated the way I like it. Every time I do a redistribution of my items, I realize I actually don't use a lot of the things on the pegboard, so part of this is just doing tidying up and cleaning to make sure that what's there are things that I actually need in front of me for the moment and the projects that I'm working on. All right, this is the new workshop, and I'm super happy with how it turned out. I've been testing the monitor and using it as basically two screens, and it works great. Obviously, not all programs work amazing on it, but I don't want to be on the computer all the time, just when I have to be. This is a lot more cleaned up, which is fantastic, and I'm pretty excited to use this on a daily basis. Something that I really enjoy about this space and being down here is the warm tones of this old school pegboard. I don't feel bad about putting holes in my walls or screwing things into the top of my workbench. This is a space that I get to experiment and explore and change as my needs facilitate. So much so that when I put up the drywall over here, I didn't even mud it, paint it, or do anything. It's just the bare drywall. I think this type of mentality and being okay with how things are and knowing that they're subject to change is a good life lesson in general that doesn't just apply to my workshop, but something that applies to life as a whole. As I mentioned, this is part one of a continuing series, as over the next couple months I'm going to be redoing parts of my basement workshop for different needs, and as I have downtime in my business, being February and January are slower months on Etsy. If you made it this far, thanks for sticking along. This was a fun little project for me, and I've still got some more work to do cleaning up around the house, but this is the type of thing you'll be seeing on the weekends, different shop upgrades, or diving into specific 3D printers, modeling, or answering some of the questions that you guys have in deeper detail. My next video is going to be coming out later this week, and it will be just a business update Q&A. If you have any questions, please drop them down in the comments below, and I'll probably be answering those on the midweek video. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Thanks.